How's it going today? I'm here to show you a quick and easy way to make some of your own beer. Today we're going to make some IPA. This is a pretty good recipe. I think it's really easy to do. Gives you a high yield of alcohol content. It's fun. In today's economy, you got to do things to get by. So what we're going to start out with today is some pretty simple ingredients. First of all, the most important thing when you're making beer at home is you got to be sanitary. We have bacteria that yeast seem to thrive off of that come out of the natural environment that you don't want to introduce into your beer. So we like to use controlled types of yeast and have an environment where we control the flavors that the yeast contributes into the beer. So what we do is, we want to have a bowl, with a sanitizing solution that you can buy at any beer store. So you want to have your stuff soaking in there. I've already pre-cleaned some things that we're not going to do on the purpose of this video. But we're going to start out with some ingredients. We have some crystal malt, some dried malt extract. This is going to be an amber malt, which is going to give you a little bit darker beer than a light malt, obviously, but we're going to have 5.5 pounds of that. We're going to use 1/2 pound of the crystal malt. This is barley that we're going to roast in the oven. This is malted barley. This is going to be really good. And then we have corn sugar. That's going to be for priming. We're not going to be using it right now. But the first step, what we're going to do today is I spread about 1/2 pound of this malted barley onto a cookie sheet. I already have an oven I'm preheating that's at 350 degrees. And what we do is the first step is we'll take this malted barley and we'll go ahead and we'll put it in the oven. And you got to watch it real quick. This it's not a long process. You don't want to burn it too much or you'll end up having like a coffee-like stout. But if you just give it a little bit of 10 minutes or so in the oven, then what we'll do is we'll end up cracking it with a rolling pin here in a little bit. And then it'll be ready to just add with the crystal malt as well. So you have a 1/2 pound of the stuff out of the oven, and you'll have 1/2 pound of the crystal malt. Then we're going to take it, we'll put it on this wax paper here. Take a rolling pin, you put it in between two pieces of wax paper so it doesn't explode everywhere. And then you're going to crack it, on the wax paper. And then you just come over and we'll add it to 1.5 gallons of cold water. I always use, I buy my water because it doesn't have chlorine in it, it's purified. But you do not want to use completely mineral-free water because there's things that, the beer is going to interact with minerally. So, we also, speaking of that, I'm going to actually add a bit of gypsum in this recipe when we get along with it. But a good thing to do when you're getting ready to brew is pull your yeast out. I use pitching yeast, this is better than the dry yeast, I think, because what you do is you'll have about 3 hours at least you're going to need to let this yeast activate. So it's always good to kind of start out doing this so it's ready to go when your wort is done. So, basically what you do is there's a little packet in here and you smack it, you break it, and that yeast is going to start forming and swelling the packet, as they release carbon dioxide. But then after everything's up to temperature, you'll pitch it. Another good preliminary thing to do is I take about 3 gallons of water and put it in the freezer and get it real cold. That way it doesn't take as long to get your temperature down of your wort. And go ahead and pitch your yeast, get along with your day. You don't have to sit there and wait 3 hours watching it. Your temperature get to the desired temperature. Anyway, that's it for now. We're going to go ahead and do these first few steps. Like I said, what we're going to do is take that, add it to the cold water, and then we're going to steep it at about 160 degrees for about 30 minutes. And then we're going to add all the other ingredients to it, and then we're going to boil it for an hour. There's a couple other ingredients that we have, and we'll get to part 2 and add them all in together.